Hey guys, happy new day. It's me, Asia. So I'm going to make you guys read. The words are only going to scroll for about a minute and a half. This is my first informational, educational video. And yeah, you're just going to have to read. If you don't want to read, you're going to have to fast forward. I might throw in some music to help it go by a little bit faster, instead of just silence and words scrolling up the screen. How about that? Happy New Day, everyone. Thank you for tuning in and watching. My name is Asia, and this is the first time I'm doing a video like this, so I hope it goes well. But if it doesn't, it's alright, because I'm all about trial and error. I'm all about making mistakes and learning from them, so I'm going to do my best. In this video, I am going to break down the mechanics through the human design system of Thanksgiving, why it's called the busiest week of the year. I'm going to break down Black Friday, why it's the craziest day of the year. And I'm also going to talk about the Laquan McDonald protests. Now, I'm doing this video in response to something that happened to me earlier this week. I was talking with a friend of mine on Tuesday, and I was telling her that I needed to go to the store. Now, by the way, I live in Chicago, and I was telling her that I need to go to the store, but I wasn't sure if I should go the following day, which was Wednesday and the day before Thanksgiving, or if I should wait until the weekend. And I remember just saying that, hey, you know, if when Wednesday comes, if my body, if my inner authority says, yes, you know, let's go to the store, then I'm gonna go. And if my body doesn't move, or if it doesn't give me a signal to respond to going to the store, then I'm just gonna stay at home. So the next day comes, Wednesday, and there was absolutely nothing in my body that wanted to get up and leave to go to the store, which was fine, because what I needed to get from the store wasn't that serious anyway, so I could have waited. The day goes on, and I'm on my computer, and I happen to come across a video, a live video of protests that are taking place in Chicago. And I'm like, what's this about? You know, I don't watch news, I don't watch TV, so majority of the time I don't know what's going on anyway. So I'm looking at this video, and I'm watching people forming a circle, holding hands around police cars and blocking an intersection at Roosevelt and State in downtown Chicago. And when I saw that, I was shocked, because Roosevelt and State is exactly where I have to go to the grocery stores that I go to every week, every 2 weeks. So right then and there, I saw how following my strategy and my inner authority played out for my benefit. Because if I wouldn't have listened to my body, and I would have allowed my mind to tell me, hey, we got to go to the store the day before Thanksgiving, I would have ended up stuck in the protest. So that was very, very interesting to me, that the exact place that I contemplated on going to, on that day, there's protests going on. So I said, okay, there's something to this. There's always something to everything. I said to myself, I could actually feel it. I felt like there was a bigger meaning behind what was going on, especially since even though I never left the house, I was directly connected to this situation. So I responded to the question of, why is this happening right now? Why is this happening during Thanksgiving week? And I had just came across some information, but it was more like I had a revelation about some energies going on this week of Thanksgiving. And I didn't even bother to look into them, but after seeing this protest and seeing how if I wouldn't have listened to my inner authority and followed my strategy, I would have ended up in some mess. I said to myself, I need to see what this is about. So did a little research, and immediately I found the code. I found the formula behind Thanksgiving, behind the Laquan McDonald protests, and behind Black Friday. And I said, wow, this is deep. And for me, it's fun. So I said, hey, this is worth sharing since it's affecting so many people. And this is a different type of Thanksgiving week that we're having, since, this Laquan McDonald situation is thrown right in the middle of it. And of course, there's a reason behind everything. So I decided to do a video explaining the mechanics, explaining from a human design standpoint why this week went the way that it did, and why every year Thanksgiving is the busiest week of the year. So I hope that you all learn from this video. I hope that I explain it in a way that makes sense, and a way that is simple and comprehensible to most people. I don't think everyone is going to understand, but for those of you that watch, I hope that, my way of explaining it was on a beginner's level. I did my best to do that, so enjoy. All right, so to begin, I want to explain to everyone what they're looking at, because I know a lot of people have never seen this, but this chart is what's called a human design body graph. And the numbers that you see on the chart go from 1 to 64. And the 64 numbers represent gates. And you can find the meaning of those gates in a book called The I Ching, the Book of Changes. The 64 gates in the I Ching, the Book of Changes, represents each one of the 64 codons in your DNA. So, as you can see, the 20, the 34, the 25, 46, and so on, these represent the different gates in the Rave I Ching. Now, when you look at these shapes, there's 9 different shapes, and every single human being on the planet has a body graph that looks like this, but you have your own specific activations and configurations. This particular body graph that you're looking at, this is what everyone was imprinted with on top of their original blueprint on November 22nd, 2015. So to give you a quick example of what an individual's body graph looks like, and then what your body graph will look like with the transits added to your body graph. This is a human being. Nobody that I know in particular, is just a chart that I generated. But this person looks like this. This is their blueprint. Now, when you take the transit of November 22nd, 2015 at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you do the transit chart for this individual to show what activations they get on top of their normal activations, this is what it looks like. So a human being is everything that's in green, so all of their activations are what's in green. And then the transit, these are all of the activations for the day of November 22nd, 2015 at 2 p.m. So all of that is in blue. So this is what they look like. This is a human being only. This is a transit only. And this is what a person looks like with the transits of the planet. So as you can see, when you look at this person and you see all of these white spaces that they have in their normal blueprint, and then you see what they look like once they get activations from the different planets, this person is definitely conditioned by our solar system. They are going to be operating and thinking and feeling in ways that are outside of their normal blueprint. All right, so that's just a quick example. So everybody had these activations from the transits on November 22nd on top of whatever your blueprint is. So if you're interested in knowing what your blueprint looks like how this person looks, you can request one from me. I will give you a full human design body graph and also the other things that come along with your chart. I'll give you that for free. And if you would like to go somewhere else, you can go to jovianarchive.com, and I'll put that information in the description box. All right, so let's get into the busyness. When you look at these two purple boxes and you see the 20 and the 34, you have gate 20, which is the gate of the now, which is located in the throat center. And then you have gate 34, which is the gate of power, which is located in the sacral center. Now the throat center is the center for communication and for manifestation. So this deals with action. In order for anything to become a reality, it has to go through this center right here, the throat center, which is why it's called the center for manifestation. Now the sacral center right here, which has the gate 34, the gate of power, the sacral center is the most powerful motor in our body. This is the center that is responsible for your sexuality, for reproduction, and for life force energy itself. So anything that deals with creation, this is the center for that. And for anyone who has this center defined or colored in, that means that you are a generator. Now, only 70% of the planet is generators. The rest of the percentage of humanity is either a projector, a reflector, or a manifester. And I'm not really going to get into that here. You can find tons of information on the internet about the different types. But as we can see, since this is the activation for November 22nd, everybody had the sacral center defined on the planet, which means that everyone pretty much was operating as a generator this week. So everybody had life force energy pumping through their bodies. Everybody was moving about. Everybody was just really hijacked. That's what I like to call it. Everyone was hijacked. And being hijacked by the gate of power and the gate of the now, you get what's called the channel of charisma, a design where thoughts must be deeds. But the thoughts that must be deeds really focus on whatever the power of this gate 34 in the sacral center is connected to. Now, this gate 34, I'm going to give you all a little background on gate 34. The gate of power is a energy that is obsessive. It's focused and is locked into whatever it is focused on. There's no awareness when it comes to this gate of power. It has no direction, no awareness, nothing that is actually steering it. So when you have this gate of power connected to this gate of the now, you have power in the now, but there's no awareness behind it. Now, usually you will find people that have the 2034 with the 10. Now, I'm one of those people. I have all of this connected, the 20 to the 34, the 20 to the 10, and the 10 to the 34. I have that all connected. So this busy energy that I have from the 2034, the channel of charisma, is actually directed by this gate 10 that is not highlighted. So gate 10 was not active in a lot of people with this 2034, this channel of charisma. So what you have is busy, 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 with no awareness. It's focused. It's obsessive. It's locked into. And there's no guidance at all. On top of that, it's helpless. So what you all see every single year around this time when we enter into the incarnation cross of the sleeping phoenix and the 2034 is activated, you see a helplessness in humanity. You see busy, 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 and you see no awareness. And you see a lot of power in the now that's just putting its energy towards whatever it's focused on, whether it's traveling, whether it's shopping, whether it's eating, whatever it is. It's a helpless energy that no one is really aware of. And the whole planet, every single person on the planet has this, whether they're participating in Thanksgiving or not. Everybody has this energy. Now, because this channel 2034 is a generator energy, generators are designed to respond. The strategy of a generator is to respond. So the way that this energy works correctly is to respond to power in the now. So when Thanksgiving comes around, you have all of these people responding to the holiday of Thanksgiving, and all of their power, that obsessiveness, that focus, that locked into power is put towards Thanksgiving, because that is what's happening in the now. Manifesting generators who naturally have this 2034, this is important for you to know, because this applies to you all the time. The busyness, the extra busyness, the extra busyness. And I know all about it because I have this. This is very important for you to understand, because this energy is so powerful in your human design that it can be physically deteriorating if you have no awareness behind it. If you don't understand that this channel of charisma is designed to have direction, is designed to have an awareness, is designed to operate based on response. And people that have this 2034, such as myself, we are known for running around and doing nonsense. We're known for wasting our energy and just being busy with no direction, no awareness, and ending up tired and then starting all over again, being busy, doing nothing. And we're helpless in that until you become aware of why you're so busy, what your strategy is, which is responding, and how to start taking heed to that so that you can stop wasting your energy and you can put your power in the now towards the things that are correct for you. This busy energy with the 2034, this is looking for a reward. So you're unaware, you're helpless, you're obsessive, you're focused and locked into wherever your power is going in the now, and you're looking for a reward. For this particular week, the reward happens to be Thanksgiving. So everyone is putting their energy towards that. They're focused and obsessed and locked into Thanksgiving, and the body is looking for a reward. So a lot of people are just running around based off tradition, but we can see the lack of awareness in the way people move and operate during this week of Thanksgiving. All right, so I moved the transit up to November 25th, which was Wednesday. And November 25th was the day of the Laquan McDonald protests. Now, as you can see, everything is still the same. But now I want to talk about this 57 that you see right here. And this center is the spleen center. The spleen center is what controls our immune system. So it's the center for our well-being, the center for our intuition and being able to know in the now and to act in the now. So this actually is an awareness center. The sacral center and the throat center are not awareness centers, but the spleen center is. So this gate 57 was activated on November 22nd at the time that we stepped into the cross of the sleeping phoenix, but I wanted to wait to talk about this gate 57 because usually on Thanksgiving gate 57 is not activated and all you have is the 2034 without the awareness. But this time there was an awareness, but things still play out in certain ways. So I'm going to get into that. Gate 57 is called the gate of intuitive insight. And this is the foundation awareness for survival. So here we have this gate 57 that was activated pretty much the whole week, and it deals with survival. Another thing about the spleen is all of the gates that are in the spleen have underlying fears. And for gate 57, the gate of intuitive insight, the underlying fear is the fear of tomorrow. Now, when you're dealing with the spleen, you are dealing with awareness in the now. This is very important to understand how the spleen works. Awareness in the now. When it comes to all of the fears that are underlying these gates, if you experience any of these fears, then it automatically means that you are not aware in the now. It means that you have missed the message that the spleen has given you. The spleen is that gut feeling, and it only speaks one time. When your spleen gives you an answer about something, it's going to say it one time, and that's it. So any fears that arise from the spleen means that you have missed that awareness in the now that the spleen has already told you. Now, taking the fear of tomorrow and connecting it with the fact that you missed the message of the spleen, you're going to have individuals, which happen to be the whole planet, individuals who have a problem listening. So this particular gate, the gate 57, intuitive insight, this is directly related to hearing in the now. So it's a problem for people to listen who have this gate because they miss the message of the spleen. That one-time message that the spleen gives, they miss it. So the fear of tomorrow arises and they're not listening. The reason people have problems listening with this gate 57 is because of the fact that it's designed to not be influenced, because it's an existential awareness. So when you're dealing with the spleen, you're dealing with survival, you're dealing with being able to act in the now. So it's all about hearing in the now, and if you miss that, then the spleen is pretty much useless. The voice of the spleen can't repeat itself. It can only speak one time. So if you miss it, that's it. So now you don't have the awareness. So when you take that information and you apply it to the whole week, and the fact that this 57 was activated in everyone for the whole week, everyone missed the spleen message at the beginning of the week. It was already gone, so the spleen was pretty much useless with this 2034. So even though you had awareness connected to this power in the now, we clearly saw that the awareness was dead and the fear of tomorrow was at work. So this 3457, the channel of power, the 5720, the channel of the brainwave, then the 2034, the channel of charisma, all three of these channels are part of what's called the integration system in the body graph. And the integration system is all about individual survival. So even though we saw loads of people come together for a protest, everyone was operating based on their own individual survival. And, you know, I took a few minutes to go through a couple of news reports and hear what people at the protests were saying. And if you look at some of those videos, you'll see that it was a lot of individual speeches. You know, the people who spoke on the news during the protest, they were talking about their own individual fears or their own individual concerns about the situation. And to go further into the lack of awareness, you know, because, hey, we missed that. We missed that awareness. The lack of awareness and the helplessness of this 2034, the lack of behavior guiding it, the fear of tomorrow, the busyness, the running around doing nothing, even though everyone came together and held hands in the middle of the street and blocked traffic for however long before they started getting frustrated and then went ahead to start destroying cars. And, you know, it went from being peaceful to, you know, some agitation in the crowd. You know, I don't know the full details, but I know enough to be able to summarize this whole thing and to see how the activations from the Cross of the Sleeping Phoenix had everything to do with what took place. Usually when it comes to these situations where a quote-unquote black teenager is killed by a quote-unquote white cop, there's usually a protest or, you know, a rally for justice. You know, they want the cop to be charged with the murder and to be put under the jail and all of these different things. And it's so interesting to me how this lack of awareness that played out was clearly shown in the fact that this officer was charged with first-degree murder. He's in jail. And the protests and the fight for justice and the all of the stuff that happened on November 25th, it was after everyone got justice. And it's almost like, you know, I haven't gone too deep into this, so I'm not, you know, scrolling the internet to see who's talking about this. But are you guys that are listening, are you guys aware that, you know, justice was kind of like served through the fact that he, you know, he was charged with the first degree murder and, you know, he's now in jail? Like what exactly were the protesters that had no awareness, that had all of this power in the now with no guidance with behavior and all of the fears of tomorrow? What exactly were they looking for? I don't even think they know, because of the fact that there was no awareness. They were just focused and locked into and obsessed with responding, using their power in the now to respond to the release of the footage of the shooting of Laquan McDonald from last year, October 20th, 2014, over a year ago. Let's think about that. It was strategically planned for the video of the shooting of Laquan McDonald to be released during the week of Thanksgiving, to watch the masses respond with all of this power in the now and no awareness and the fear of tomorrow to this old footage, to this old situation that, honestly, I live in Chicago, and I didn't know anything about Laquan McDonald getting shot and killed last year. I didn't know anything about this until this week. So, you know, I could run my mouth about this thing, but what's the point? You know, this is it's pretty self-explanatory as to what went on with this whole scenario. And mechanics are everything. Everything that you all see play out is based on these numbers, lines, shapes, and colors. We're always going to go through cycles. And there's going to be somebody else that gets shot and killed by a quote-unquote white police officer. There's going to be someone else that gets killed from quote-unquote black-on-black gang violence. There's going to be another tsunami. There's going to be another earthquake. There's going to be another type of natural disaster. There's going to be another terrorist attack at some point. There's going to be another school shooting. You know, this is a part of what's supposed to happen in the reality that we all have chosen to be a part of. There are no mistakes. There are no coincidences. Nothing just happens for no reason. There are mechanics and blueprints and formulas behind every single thing, regardless of what you emotionally feel about it, regardless of what you think about it. So it's something to take into consideration, because I've discovered a lot of things about a lot of situations that have taken place and have controlled social media and riled people up on the internet and created hashtags this and hashtags that and free this person and justice for this person, and you know, all of this stuff it's mechanics behind it, period. So now I'm going to get into the craziest, most insane and chaotic day of the year, Black Friday. This is the transit chart for November 27th, 2015, starting at 12:05 a.m. At 12:05 a.m., we lost gate 57. We lost our awareness. So anybody who has an open spleen, you didn't have any awareness. And now we're left with no awareness and no behavior with the channel 2034, the channel of charisma, the channel of being busy, 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 the channel of having power in the now and not knowing what to do with it, the channel of being obsessive, the channel of being helpless, the channel of running around and doing nonsense, the channel of what makes Black Friday Black Friday. Need I say more? This is what you got. You're just left with this, with all of this power. No awareness, helplessness, wasted energy, responding to sales starting at midnight. This is funny. I'm sorry. I gotta laugh at this because I just vision, some disembodied beings who are just laughing at humanity. Just laughing because is it a coincidence that the one gate that can give some awareness to all of this power disappears at midnight to just leave everyone with all of this power, no behavior, just left everybody out in the wind to just be running around, acting crazy, acting chaotic. I'm sorry, it's funny to me. It's hilarious, actually. But this is what we get, This is what we get every year. And we got a little bit of saving, not much, a little bit of saving from the 57 for the days prior to Black Friday. But we can see that this the Laquan McDonald surprise that everyone got, we can see how that diffused the awareness that could have possibly had everyone a little bit more calmer, just a little bit more calmer. But I have a gut feeling that somebody knew the mechanics of this week ahead of time and strategically chose to throw that tape out and charge the officer and everything in the middle of this week so that this Gate 57, this channel of awareness, wouldn't diffuse the natural Thanksgiving overpowered busy energy of the week. What do you all think? I mean, it makes sense to me, but hey, that's just me. Everyone has their own opinion. But like I said, nothing is a coincidence. Everything can be accounted for in the numbers, lines, shapes, and colors. And whether you knew exactly what energies they were or what exactly was taking place, everybody could feel that they had a much more significant amount of energy than usual. And it's like this every single year during this time. So let's take a look at the transit for today. November 28th. Let's move this to 2:55 a.m. As we can see, we still have this channel of charisma still hijacking all bodies on the planet. And at 2:56 a.m., poof, it's gone. It's gone. Just like that, everybody is released. The spell of the sleeping phoenix is broken. Wow. And it's over. All of the power-packed energy you all had this week just disappears. For everyone who wasn't a generator, well, we can see that this particular channel is still keeping that sacral center defined in everyone, but it's not like the channel of charisma. But for those of you who aren't generators, who experience the cross of the sleeping phoenix, the juxtaposition cross of power, and the cross of duality, all three of those crosses had the 2034. So from the 22nd through early this morning, 2:55 a.m. on the 28th, that was a lot of extra energy that you all had to deal with, that your bodies are not really designed to deal with. So if your bodies didn't put you to sleep already, it will be wise to get as much rest as you can to discharge all of the overactive energy that you took in over this last week. And for future references, when Thanksgiving comes around, be aware. Protect your energy. Be aware of how your body is trying to move along with the rest of the world in ways that you know is not really the natural way in which you move. Because just 1 week of high-powered energy like this, it could cause some serious issues, especially depending on how much you allowed the 2034 energy to impact you. So I hope you all enjoyed this little breakdown. As you can see, there is much more that I could get into about other aspects of the planets and the transits and how we were affected by those, but the main thing to know is that 2034. That 2034 is the that's the spell. That's the spell that is cast upon us every year. So it's just the cycles. It's just the cycles and the transits of life. And our best bet is to be aware of them and to know what's coming and pay attention to how our bodies are responding to the different energies that we get day to day, week to week, month to month, and year after year. Things are changing in a much more bigger way than the majority of the planet is aware of. And interestingly enough, it actually has to do with the cross of the sleeping phoenix. There's a huge mutation coming in 13 years, 2027. A huge mutation that's going to affect every single person on the planet. Yeah. But I'll get into that one day. I won't wait 13 years to get into it, but timing is everything, as we can see. But stay alert. Pay attention to the events taking place in the world, the changes taking place in your bodies, in your emotions, in your ways of thinking. It's a lot of subtle things taking place and a lot of huge in your face things taking place. But all of it is leading up to something really, really big that's coming really, really soon. So, change is always inevitable. It can be great for some, terrible for others, but it's all about your awareness. Things can't stay the same forever. Just like you see in this body graph, we used to be 7-centered beings. We used to be human bodies that only had 7 centers, and we have 9 now. I know a lot of people didn't know that, but you know, just throwing some things out there. And here's another thing to think about. When a whole race of beings, such as humans, evolve from being a 7-centered being into being a 9-centered being, it's safe to say that adding 2 extra centers in the human species, that would cause our body temperatures to be hotter, right? You can think about it for a little bit. Now, when you take human beings who have evolved from 7-centered beings to 9-centered beings, then you have a significant amount of extra heat on the planet, right? It's very interesting how we have this thing called global warming, and lots of ice is melting around the world. You know, it's interesting. It's very, very interesting. But, you know, I'm just a beginner at this. You know, I have a lot to learn. But it's a lot of puzzle pieces in this thing, and I like puzzles. I like putting the pieces together, especially when they make sense. So thank you all for tuning in and watching. I had fun doing this, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to be doing more videos like this, breaking down more codes and formulas to the different scenarios that we see in life, the different people that we know, and just, you know, just discovering more about the Matrix. free your mind to shine. Until next time.